Welcome to Sister Elenda, the official Church of Athreos parishioner outreach program. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, it looks great. We're going to keep on this one. We have Marsh Flats. We're going to be able to turn that into another dual source. We have City of Brass and Godless Shrine. Vizcopa Guildmage. Absolutely wonderful. Love playing with Vizcopa Guildmage. It was a lot of fun. And then we have a pseudo Blood Artist effect with the Evangel, so we can make that work. Let's go ahead and lead off with the Marsh Flats. Anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn. We are playing Sister Alinda, the outreach program of the Church of Athreos. Lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1 counter on Alinda, the Dusk Rose. Whenever Alinda dies, create X11 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is Alinda's power. And then also on Alinda, something that you should know is that, let's go ahead and get down the Windswept Heath. I meant to crack it, but our opponent cycled through too quick. Let's grab the Scrub Land. Let's go ahead and grab another black source. So we have the Godless Shrine, the City of Brass, but actually, excuse me, we need to grab a Plains off of that. I'm going to get down the Suture Priest. I think that sounds good. Yeah, let's go for Suture Priest. But yes, the one thing that you do need to know for the Alinda, if you're thinking about building Alinda, is that in order to get Alinda's effect, once it dies, it needs to go to the graveyard and not back to the command zone. Because when it goes to the command zone, it doesn't really technically count as dying. I mean, I may not be saying that correctly, but all I know is that Alinda, once it goes back to the command zone, you will not get those death triggers because it never hit the graveyard. And so if you're thinking about building Alinda, really fun commander. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I would highly suggest building some safety valves in there. You know, stuff like ways to bring Alinda back out of the graveyard to have some fun. That's the main thing that I'm getting at. Do we want to get down the Isolated Chapel? And let's go and swing in for one. Suture Priest has that orb. She's itching to swing in and attack. Oh, yes. We get the Suture Priest beat sticks going. 29 turn clock established. Opponent's going to be digging for some answers now. Let's go and get down the Isolated Chapel. Let's go ahead and go for the Evangel. I think that sounds good. We can go for the Twilight Prophet next turn. If we want to go for tap out for white, we can go for Alinda. Creature enters the control. We're going to get, look at that. Double life gain. Loving it. Always yes, and then always yield. Okay, we'll kick up the turn back over to our opponent. But yeah, so you want to build some sort of safety valve in your Alinda deck that's going to allow you to bring Alinda back, because you want to get all those vampires going, you know? You don't want to sacrifice everything, or maybe you're an aspiring aristocrat, inspiring a young member of the Church of Athreos, and you want to start sacrificing some creatures and get some good Alinda triggers. You want to make sure that you're doing it right, and you want to make sure that you're doing it in the name of Athreos, and that's going to be by sending it to the graveyard. We were playing against Riku of Two Reflections. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay blue-red. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay blue-green, Simic colors if you do create a token that's a copy of that creature. All right, opponent's going to be attacking about for 4 mana. Let's see if they're going to be able to get on the battlefield. Either way, we've got a good little board state going. Savage Twister deals 2 damage to each creature. Well, it's pretty savage. It's going to take care of us. All right. The good thing here about the Church of Athreos is that, you know, when you pass on to the next plane, like Suture Priest and the Evangel, you're not over yet. You know, you're still serving Athreos from the grave. And so we're going to hopefully be able to bring them back. Hopefully. So we're going to go for. Do we want to go for Alinda at this point right now? If we're going to go for Alinda, I like getting a few creatures on the battlefield. We're a little far away from Twilight Prophet. Let's go ahead and either way we need to shock it in. Yeah, let's go and get the Godless Shrine into play. We're going to go and shock that in. Let's go for Suture High Priest, Skirtstag High Priest, excuse me, and get down the Vizcopa Guildmage, white and black. And that's the fun thing about playing Aristocrats is, you know, if our opponent does go for something like Savage Twister to end up with our board state, you just roll out 2 more creatures and you're good to go. It's like nothing ever happened. Then once you finally hit your Reanimator spell, everyone's all happy and that they get to see each other. So that's what we're going to go for. But if you do not see the deck tech, or you do not know what Aristocrats is, we're going to be sacrificing a bunch of our creatures to get a bunch of counters on Alinda. We want to get as many vampire tokens as possible. One of the win conditions that we can go for is going to be, we can go vampire beat sticks, but the main thing that we're looking to do is sacrifice a bunch of our creatures with something like Blood Artist on the battlefield. And if you don't know what Blood Artist is, I'll explain it in a second. Do we want to get down, let's see. Let's go ahead and get down the Urborg. I think we're okay with that. And let's go ahead and go for the, we don't really have a way to sacrifice any of our creatures at this point right now. And do we have the City's Blessing? 1, 2, 3. I mean, we're a little far away, but we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 next turn. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go for Twilight Prophet. That way we can protect Alinda, because we can't really get anything going. If they have a destruction spell, we might be able to tap 2 creatures. Yeah, I like going for that. Let's go for it. That's going to be black. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to go for Alinda or Twilight Prophet, but Twilight Prophet will be a good way for us to kind of test for some spot removal. It is a 2/4 body. Alinda's just sitting at a 1/1 right now. We have no way to kind of pump her up a little bit, so I kind of like getting down Twilight Prophet. All right, anything else? No, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Now, one of the things here at the Church of Athreos that we really do enjoy, and that's going to be Scourgestag High Priest. Yeah, he's an actually wonderful member of the church. Whenever one of our parishioner dies, we get to tap him and 2 other creatures to create a 5/5 demon creature token. You know, he's very inspired whenever opponent's going to go for Sad Robot. Okay, he gets really inspired whenever one of our parishioners dies, and in fact, he summons the demon. So that's always fun. It makes the church service a little bit more enjoyable. Not that they're not enjoyable, but it makes it a little bit more fun. All right, opponent does have Into the Royal on top of our library. On top of their library. See if they're going to swing in on anything. Nope, not going to offer it up. Now with Morbid, that's going to count for our creatures or our opponent's creatures. So we'll see what we can kind of come up with that. And we draw into Banisher Priest. Let's go ahead and get down the City of Brass. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's get down the City of Brass. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 total mana. Oh, can you imagine how good it would have been if we had Suture Priest and the Evangel with Vizkopa out there? Oh, that would have been nice. We can start working towards that later. I think I like going for Banisher Priest. I want to keep our opponent off making land drops. I think that's going to be pretty important for us. It's going to be white. We're going to tap out of the Urborg. Let's go and exile Oracle. Yeah, I think that sounds good. We're going to exile Oracle. There we go. Thought I clicked on it, but did not. A Banisher Priest is going to send Oracle to the timeout zone. Let's go and swing in with Twilight Prophet, because we're going to be at least be able to still... We would always leave up 3 creatures to be able to tap out for Scourgestag High Priest. And our opponent does have Into the Royal on top of their library, so we got to watch out for that. If they want their Oracle back that bad enough, they can bounce Banisher Priest back to the hand, but it's going to put us in a spot where we can go for that. And we do have the City's Blessing. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we do have the City's Blessing. In fact, this is the first time that I have it, so pretty cool. So with the City's Blessing at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the City's Blessing, reveal the top card of your library, put it in your hand. Each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is that card's converted mana cost. Now, as far as us getting some really good flips off Twilight Prophet, the converted mana cost on this deck is really low. You know, this is an Aristocrats build, and so we're sitting at probably around 5. Let me actually pull it up. That way... for the number of people out there and kind of keep you posted. We have a pretty big amount of 4-drops. We have about 10 cards that are the 4-drop, 20 that are 3-drop, and then we have 4 cards that are 5-drop, and only 1 card that's going to be a 6-drop. That's going to be Requiem Angel, which actually really fun in the deck. Whenever actually I'll pop it up, that way we can talk about it. Where our opponent is deciding on what they want to do. So the Requiem Angel, whenever another non-spirit creature you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Now the fun thing about this is that what we're trying to do is, well, not Simic Guildgate, Pajuka Gardener, okay. We want to get as many amplifying effects on creatures as possible. If you're not familiar with Aristocrats, you've never really seen it. Where have you been? It's a lot of fun. But mainly is we just want to start sacrificing our creatures, get those Blood Artist triggers going, and then just having a lot of fun. Okay, see if our opponent... Nope, let's swing it from our opponent. So we have Crypt coming down. Don't really have that big... Ooh. Cauldron Haze. I like it. Now we've got a reason to get down Alinda. Let's go and get down Crypt, and then let's go ahead and go for Alinda. We might be running into a counter spell, but that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be, yeah, just enough for the Cauldron Haze. I like that. All right, it's going to be white, black, and then tap out for the Isolated Chapel. Okay. And to get Elenda down, that's going to keep us online for Cauldron Haze, which is going to give all of our creatures persist, enters the battlefield with a -1 counter on it, which is just delightful. I do want to swing in with the Twilight Prophet. Yeah, there's nothing with reach out there, and it does have flying. I guess technically, if we wanted to kind of go for a demon, we know Into the Royals in the deck. Let's just go and push in for 2 at this point right now. I like that. We don't really want to get too crazy, you know, swing in Banisher Priest. Maybe they chump block with the Sad Robot to get a card draw, get Oracle back to the hand. We're just going to push in for 2. Just get a little incremental damage when we can. And then that's the good thing about playing Aristocrats is when you just slowly kind of nickel and dime your opponent for these little chunks of damage, once you finally build up a good enough board state like this, you know, we are missing Blood Artists, but once we finally do get it on the battlefield somehow, you just sack your board out and kind of close it out from there. So And then, all things considered, us playing against Riku, it's not that bad at this point right now. I know there's been a couple times where I play against Riku, and it gets out of hand sometimes. It gets a little crazy with those copy spells. So at least we're kind of chewing up our opponent's resources by deploying out as many creatures as possible. Now, one of the fun things with Vizkopa Guildmage is that whenever we go for the 3-mana activated ability, whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. So if we get Blood Artist going, we can also use it in a pseudo way to use Suture Priest to get those... if we sacrifice Alinda and we have something like Suture Priest on the battlefield, and the fun thing about Vizkopa Guildmage is you can stack those activated abilities. So let's say that we stack 2 of those activated abilities. We have Suture Priest, so it's going to be 2 for every creature. Basically, every creature that enters the battlefield, we're going to gain a life off Suture Priest. We activated Vizkopa Guildmage twice, so that's going to be us gaining 1 life, but we have that stacked ability twice, so our opponent's going to lose basically 2 life. So for every creature that enters the battlefield, they're going to lose 2 life. At this point right now, we sack our board out. We're looking at about 5 vampires. It's 10. There you go. You throw Blood Artist in the mix, it makes it even more complicated for our opponent to get out from underneath it. All right, opponent's going to go for Reap and Sow. Search your library for a card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. And opponent did go for, no, straight up just Reap and Sow. Even if they had gone for Reap and Sow with the short target land, and that's really not the end of the world. We can make this work. The main thing is, man, I want to get those demons going. It's always a lot of fun. It feels kind of weird not having Sack Outlet. We do have a couple different Sack Outlets in the deck. We have Viscera Seer, we have Yahini, we also have Bloodthorn Vampire. Always a lot of fun. But I may end up adding a couple more Sack Outlets and, get stuff like Cartel Aristocrat in here. Just a little bit more redundancy. I found that as I've played, I need a Sack Outlet pretty bad. And sometimes you just don't have it, but that's how it goes sometimes. Okay, let's see what we draw into. But yes, Cauldron Haze. Absolutely wonderful, Elenda. If you think about building it, go for it. Cheaply allows you to bring Elenda back and whatever you're sacrificing. So see, we hit off the Twilight Prophet. Phyrexian Tower. Oh, there we go. We have a Sack Outlet. Wonderful. Let's go and get the Phyrexian Tower down. Let's go for Weathered Wayfarer. Let's go and tap out for white. Let's see how we want to sequence this. We can only basically sacrifice 1 creature at this point right now. Let's just go and push in again with the Twilight Prophet. And then Alinda does not have flying. No, she does not have flying. Yeah, I think we're good with that. Let's go and push in with Twilight Prophet. I like that. So we're going to push in with Twilight Prophet. It's going to be 2, put them down to 21. And then we'll kind of go ahead and pass the turn. We do have the Phyrexian Tower to add some mana to our mana pool. And then whatever we sacrifice off the Phyrexian Tower, if we wanted to, we can go for the Cauldron Haze. But at this point right now, I think we're better served just simply sacrificing something to get a 5/5 demon on the battlefield. We'll kind of see what our opponent's going to roll out. And that's another good thing about Aristocrats is that a lot of this stuff is at instant speed. So, your win condition is your board state. And so it's going to change every single time. And so it puts your opponent in a weird spot to where it's not like we're casting a spell that needs to get a 5/5 demon on the battlefield. We're simply using our creatures as a toolbox to kind of create them. And I think that's what makes Aristocrat so fun to me is that, let's say that you're a veteran Magic player and you've played a lot of decks and they all play the same. Build an Aristocrats deck. It's a very challenging thing to build an Aristocrats deck and end up with something that kind of functions, has a nice cohesive pattern to it. Do you want to sacrifice? This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you want to sacrifice Weathered Wayfarer to get a demon on the battlefield? Opponent just has the End of the Royal, and I'm afraid they're just going to send that back to the hand if that's what they end up going for. Let's just go and leave up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're sitting at a few more lands. We'll go and hold on to Weathered Wayfarer at this point right now. I draw the Flooded Strand. Ooh, Rally the Ancestors. Okay, let's go and get the Flooded Strand down. Let's go and push in again with Twilight Prophet. This whole thing, man, we're just ready. We just need Blood Artist and Sack Outlet, and we are set. Let's go and push in with the Twilight Prophet. And then, yeah, we're going to go and pass the turn. Now, we do have Alinda with lifelink, so we can get in spots where we can use that Phyrexian Tower to kind of get some stuff going. But we're kind of just basically going to, until our opponent shows something, we're just going to keep swinging in and slowly getting that incremental damage. Swinging in for 2 a turn, and once we get him into about the 10, 12, 13, 14 range. That's going to be the sweet spot for us. We do have to find, we do have to find Blood Artist or something like that. But that's going to put us in the sweet spot to where we can go for that. Cackling Counterpart and then Spell Crumble. I'm just going to put the Spell Crumble in one pile. And then we have Rally the Ancestors and Cauldron Haze. The one thing we don't really want to play against is Spell Crumble. So we're just going to go for an extreme value play with this one right here. Yeah, I like that. Because we want Rally the Ancestors really bad. We want Cauldron Haze. And then let's see. Yeah, Spell Crumble went in the graveyard, so we know exactly what's in their hand now. So, and really, if you think about it, it's just 3 islands and the Cackling Counterpart. So, even though we're making our land drops too, so it's really not not that crazy. Okay, let's get the Bajuka Gardener down. Boduca. I'm sorry. I remember that. I've always said that wrong. And I remember that I get a lot of comments about the gardener, like, hey, man, you're saying it wrong. It's not, I think of Bajuka Bog, but it's Budoka Gardener. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, let's see if our opponent's going to go for something with the Cackling Counterpart. And then we'll kind of go from there. Now, with Rally the Ancestors, into the Royal, sacrifice it, draw a card. Let's go and do this. Let's go ahead and sacrifice it in response. Sacrifice a creature, add double black to our mana pool. So if we do that, we go for Rally the Ancestor, bring it back. We simply don't have a sack outlet to take advantage of it. Yep, let's do that. Let's go Phyrexian Tower. Let's go and sacrifice Twilight Mire. I actually want it in the bin right now. We're going to get a +1 counter on Elenda, which I do enjoy. And then we can activate Scourge Stack High Priest. Let's go ahead and tap down the Weathered Wayfarer because we're real far away from that. Let's go ahead and tap out on the Banisher Priest. Get that 5/5 demon. Oh, look at that. Church of Athreos. You got a really good grade in Sunday school the other day, so we're really proud of that demon. Then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So at this point right now, we're just kind of sitting on something. Hopefully, if our opponent, maybe they go for a board wipe or another sort of big savage twister, and we can go for that Cauldron Haze, we might be able to get into spots or with these 2 creatures right here, the Evangel and stuff like that. If we can sequence a Rally the Ancestors for 3, that's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, we'll still have just enough to go for the Cauldron Haze and Rally the Ancestors kind of interaction. So we'll see what we kind of have to show for it. Opponent did get down a full Art Force, so we're going to cross that off. They have not got down a full Destroy Target Land. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and add black mana to our mana pool in response to that. So we might be playing against Riku Land Destruction, potentially. I mean, if we're seeing the Acid Moss, but I mean, it's really not that crazy. And then our opponent has an M14 island. Have they got down an M14 island? Is that the same one? Yeah, we're going to cross that one off. It looks like it. So it's going to leave Cackling Counterpart and at least one more full art island in the hand. And we can start pushing in with, unfortunately we did miss out on Twilight Prophet going into the graveyard after that. But with the 5/5 Demon, we're in a pretty good spot to kind of keep swinging in our opponent. Get Riku popped down just a little bit. Okay, the opponent's going to pass the turn. But yeah, so we do have the Rally to bring it back. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any certain way that we can really take advantage of Vizkopa Guild Mage. Because the main thing is, we can do that if we get a bunch of counters on Alinda, but we just need a way to kind of clear the board out. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Something like Viscera Seer, buddy. If you can hear the word of Athreos right now, we need you. Or Bloodthorn Vampire would be an excellent draw too. And we draw into Signet. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and get the Signet down. It's going to be 1, 2. Do we need the Signet down that bad? If we're going to go for Rally for 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then leave up 2 Cauldron, we can still tap out for the Signet. Yeah. We'll go for Plains. Let's go Urborg. Get the Signet down. Because either way, we'll still be able to tap the Flooded Strand down. And then tap it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and push in with the 5/5 Demon. We're on the Demon game plan right now. And with that Phyrexian Tower, it makes it a little bit easier for us to kind of do that. Let's go ahead and swing it for 5. It's going to put him down to 14. And then anything else, now we're going to go and pass the turn. So as far as us going for an activation, if we want to activate Phyrexian Tower on the on Weathered Wayfarer, that's going to give us another demon to get onto the battlefield. And our opponent did get the Dokai, Weaver of Life, created where X is the number of lands that you control. Now, the good thing about that token is that it doesn't have trample. So even if it's just, they're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've got 11 lands. And in fact, let's see, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're only sitting at 8 lands, so we're online for Weathered Wayfarer. So we might be able to kind of sequence it to where we can grab another fetch land, not a fetch land, but another sack land. We do have High Market in here, so we can go for a Weathered Wayfarer activation and put it into our hand, and we'll be able to get that down on the battlefield. And let's see where our opponents got rolling out, because we can slowly kind of start cobbling together some of these sack outlets with our lands to kind of get some stuff going. So hopefully that's what we can get moving. Opponent's going to have a 4 total mana. Let's see what they're tapping out for. Okay, opponent's going to go for Mystic Retrieval on Reap and Sow. Destroy target land, search your library for a land card, put that card on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Okay, so and they will be able to go for the entwine cost on that, I think. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's going to be them completely tapping out. So if they do end up going for the entwine on that, trying to blow up Phyrexian Tower, go for it. We'll be able to search up another sack land, and then we'll also be able to get a demon that's going to be 10 in the air, and we might be able to go for the Rally the Ancestors triggers to kind of close it out if that's the line of play that they're going to go for. Okay, the opponent's going to go for Reap and Sow. Destroy target land, search your library for a land card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Let's go ahead and go for a Weathered Wayfarer activation. Yeah, I like that. Weathered Wayfarer activation. Search your library for a land card. Reveal it, put it in your hand. Let's go and grab that High Market. I think that'll be a good thing to search up. That'll be, yep, another sack outlet. High Market goes into the hand. Let's go and sacrifice the Weathered Wayfarer to add 2 black to our mana pool. And that way we're going to get the +1 counter on Elenda. We're also going to be online for Morbid. In fact, let's go and go for that now. Let's go and tap out. Well, actually, let's go ahead and wait until their main phase. We can do it at the end step. It's not really going to matter how we sequence that one. Okay, and they get the Alchemist Refuge onto the battlefield. So it's going to put them, they might have a counter spell at this point, but we're not going to play around it. We're going to let that mana phase out of our mana pool. And then we'll go and pass the turn, at least get that demon going. That's going to be 10, puts them down to 4. And then we do have the Suture Priest and the Evangel to go for next turn. So I think we might be able to close it out. We'll see. Let's go and go for that Scourge Stag High Priest activation. It's going to be 1, 2. All right, there we go. We got 2 demons on the battlefield. And then let's see what we draw into. Let's go and get that down. Let's get the High Market down. So if we push across the board, that's going to be 10. That's going to be 15. And that's going to be 17. We simply have it on lethal over there. Let's go and push in. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we still have at least 1 activation off the Vizkopa Guildmage, because we'll be able to bring back at least 4 creatures out of the graveyard. 3. Yeah, let's go and do that. Kind of make it hard for our opponent. I'm just going to push in with the whole crew, because at this point right now, they've only got 2 mana, so there's not like they can really hurt us that bad. Okay, push in with the crew. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up, excuse me. So we're going to be able to swing with the crew. We had 10 coming across in the air, puts them down to 14. Now, let's say that they did have some sort of action. Sorry for that weird edit. Sometimes when the game ends really quick, for some reason it shoots it back to the desktop, and I kind of wanted to explain our board state. Yes, as far as this game goes, we did play really conservatively. The main reason for that is we didn't really want to give our opponent some extra card draw off Sad Robot, and I really wanted to kind of force them to have some sort of answer for us swinging in with these demons. So you can see where I'm getting Scourge Stag down, those activations going, getting those demons can really help you close it out. Now, as far as what we could have done this turn, so we're swinging with the whole crew. Let's say that it would have been bad for us to swing in, or we need a little bit of extra damage. Let's say that they're at 30, and we're swinging in for 10. That's going to be 13, 15. We're going to be swinging in for 18. That's not going to kill it. So one thing that we can do is with Alinda swinging in, we do have High Market. What we could do is we can have Alinda go to the graveyard. We're only going to be able to sacrifice Alinda. So we sacrifice Alinda. We get that extra trigger, those 2 token triggers. Excuse me, the 2 vampire token triggers going. She goes to the graveyard. In response to those triggers, we could have gone for Rally the Ancestor for about 4. 4 converted mana costs. That would have brought back Weathered Wayfarer, Twilight Prophet, Suture Priest, and then the Evangel. So we would have had those triggers enter the battlefield all at once with Suture Priest. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. So we'd have been gaining 4 life off of those enter the battlefield. That would have been us tapping out for Rally for 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would have left us 1 Vizkopa Guildmage activation. So whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. So we activate Vizkopa in response to that Rally the Ancestors. Those creatures come back out. We get those life gain triggers. And then we still have the Alinda trigger on the stack to begin with. We get those 2 other creatures coming down. And basically, we would have been able to drain our opponent for an extra 8. So even if their life total was a little bit higher, there's different ways that, building aristocrats and different stuff like this where you can kind of build in these safety valves to where, if we had more mana, we could have gone for double Vizkopa Guildmage activations and we'd end up with a lot more triggers coming across. So even if you don't have Blood Artist, you don't have a sack outlet, an official sack outlet, you have something like High Market, you can still use it to your advantage to generate as much value out of your creatures dying, and you can see that through this. So anyway, if you enjoyed the outreach program, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.